Yo, so I've done videos in the past kind of detailing my personal favourite episodes of Doctor Who from each series. However, I felt it was about time that I did it. That I ranked the my best episodes of Doctor Who. And frankly, this was not easy. This took me kind of several hours to kind of work out re-ranking, trying to look at it, and I did have to sacrifice quite a few of my personal favourite episodes along the way, but I think I've come up with my top 10. This is going to be subjective. If your favourites aren't up there, I'm sorry, this is just my personal opinion, and feel free to leave your own rankings down below. Here are my top 10 episodes of NuWho. I'm not doing classic, I haven't seen enough of that, and I'm counting two-parters, or in some cases three-parters, as one story. My number 10 spots goes to Alex Kingston's final episode of NuWho, The Husbands of River Song. This was the 2015 Christmas special, and it's just a roller coaster ride. I mean, you get great comedy, you get great action, you get kind of the sad moments kind of when River realises that the Doctor has been with her the entire time, even though she thought he wouldn't be. She thought he didn't love her enough. Just that one moment when she sees Peter smiling beside her and the penny drops. It's a beautiful episode, and when you realise where they're going, it has a kind of degree of finality to it, and I do think it is one of the great episodes, and that's why it's at my number 10. My number 9 is, well, the first two-parter on this list, the Series 1 episodes, The Empty Child and The Doctor Dances. I mean, I remember being scared of the gas masked zombie kids just asking, "Are you my mummy?" That scared the hell out of me when I was young, and to be honest, it's still a little bit scary now. I mean, while Doctor Who has developed, this still remains one of the scariest episodes they did, and it is still actually one of the greats. It's scary, it's action packed, and the kind of conclusion is very satisfying. Anyway, my number 8 is, I believe, Series 5, Episode 10, I believe, Vincent and the Doctor. I'll admit, I'm not as big a fan of this one as everyone else seems to be. Everyone else regards it as a masterpiece, I think mainly because of the one scene where they take Vincent to the Louvre. That's kind of one reason why kind of people regard it so highly. I admit it's not one of my favourites, but even I can see this is quite a beautiful episode. It's not my favourite, but it's still a good one. And it kind of shows shows what joy can do to a person, but also having to kind of face the harsh reality that you can't always change time, which I do feel is rather hard hitting. So yeah, Vincent and the Doctor makes my number 8. My number 7, the 50th anniversary episode, The Day of the Doctor. Had to lock me and a fanboy kind of away for this one. I mean, when this episode first happened, for me, it was the greatest story. It was the kind of greatest episode there ever been. And I admit it's still a very good episode, but I've kind of managed to calm myself down since then and realise that there are some that are better in the series, but it still remains kind of a great episode for me. I mean, you've got Matt Smith and David Tennant coming back as the Doctor, both of them, plus a new version of the Doctor played by the late John Hurt, which he does it brilliantly, and it's just a roller coaster ride, this episode, kind of seeing them deal with Zygons, Daleks, and their kind of past and future working together, and it's just brilliant. My number 6 goes to the Series 9 finale episodes, Heaven Sent and Hell Bent. Heaven Sent is a masterpiece. I'm not the first person to say so. Many other people can regard it as a masterpiece, that just having an episode entirely set around the Doctor, kind of within his mind, and just seeing an episode that mainly focuses on Peter Capaldi with not many other characters in there, it's a joy. It's a masterpiece of an episode. Hellbent, I've heard people kind of have problems with it, which I addressed recently in another video, but I do think the Hellbent's not particularly bad enough to drag Heaven Sent down. The problem mainly was that Heaven Sent was such a good episode that Hellbent kind of fell a little flat. But for me, it still makes it into my top 10. It's coming in here at number 6. My number 5 spot goes to the Series 7 Part 1 finale, The Angels Take Manhattan. This is one that I saw people were a bit surprised about that it made my list. But it does. I mean, there are many kind of departure episodes that I admit are kind of pretty heartbreaking, such as Rosa's departure and Donna's kind of departure, which I might get to later. But kind of for me, this one was kind of still particularly hard hitting. Just they think they won, they think the world is saved, they think they've done it right, and then one angel survived, and just that gut punch, it's heartbreaking. But then again, kind of seeing them go through this episode, try and sort out the puzzle, only to find that things don't entirely go their way and just ends up so sad. It's still a great episode, and I still maintain one of the best. That's my number 5 spot. My number 4 goes to the Series 10 finale, Well Enough in Time and The Doctor Falls. I knew the cliffhanger to Well Enough in Time, I knew it was coming. Frank, we all knew it was coming. But still, just that one moment when you see Bill as a Mondasian Cyberman, even though you knew it was coming, it's still like, no, please. And you know what? They ramp it up in the next episode. I wondered for years why they never did a multi-master story. I got the answer in the end, that they keep stabbing each other in the back. But yeah, I think everything works one episode. You got multiple generations of Cybermen, some of the best acting from Peter Capaldi, plus you got Michelle Gomez and Johnson working brilliantly off each other. I still think it's one of the best. It makes my number 4 spot. My number 3 spot goes to the Series 4, I believe it's like episode 10? Yeah, Series 4, episode 10, Midnight. While I admit The Empty Child kind of scared me when I was young, Midnight did the same. Something so simple, just somebody copying everything you're saying. It was terrifying. And I've known that most people can regard this as one of the best, and you know what, I have to admit, yeah, it's not one of my personal favourites, but I will admit this episode is one of the best. Just kind of that cramped in style, enclosed in one room. Mostly one room throughout the entire episode, and just you get a sense of claustrophobia with it, which Doctor Who can do very well. Yeah. My number 2 spot, another one people have claimed is one of the best, Blink. This was from Series 3, and yeah. Once again, it has that kind of claustrophobia aspect of just statues following you and something continually chasing you, but so fast that you can't see it, and just it's scary, it's claustrophobic, and you know what, it's brilliant. Even if this was the second Doctor Light, or Doctor and Companion Light storyline, and this was how it was supposed to be done. They tried it before with Love and Monsters, it didn't quite click. Blink was a masterpiece. And you know what, once again I'm going to say it's not one of my favourites, but it's definitely one of the best. And that's why it makes my number 2 spot. But it's not my number 1. It may have been that this one was just kind of a personal favourite that just fought its way to the top, but I'm glad it did. For my number 1 is the Series 4 finale, The Stolen Earth and Journey's End. I've spoken about this before, but the kind of best way I've heard this one described is that it's like the Doctor Who version of the Avengers, even though at this point the Avengers wouldn't kind of hit screens for another 4 years. But you know what, that's the best way I've heard it done. I mean, yeah, you've got the kind of best parts of Doctor Who, Torchwood, and the Sarah Jane Adventures coming together to fight a classic villain, Davros, and just the amount of nostalgia and kind of also classic fear that goes on with this episode is brilliant. and it's why it makes my number one spot. Well, there you go. My top 10 episodes of NuWho. Let's see what the future will bring. Until then, see ya.